Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing the first camera comparison between these two new iPhones, the iPhone 12 and the older iPhone 11. Now both these phones are the cheaper models of the year, even though we have the 12 mini this year. And what's really interesting is both cameras at the first start off, they look and kind of perform pretty much the same. They have the same back-facing camera, the same exact 4K at 60 to 12 megapixel lenses, a wide-angle lens, and an ultrawide sensor. The phone has that 4K at 60 capability on both, and the UIs are almost exactly the same. They have the exact same features, portrait mode, all that good stuff, which isn't really a problem, but it would have been really cool had there been a crazy like 8K capability, but this is not even talking about the future of what iPhones hold. We're strictly going to be looking at the camera quality. I listened to a lot of you guys, you said you want more dark, photos a little bit, somewhat like worse lighting conditions, and I put those in this specific photo video as well. I tested different type of videos and all that crazy stuff, so let's go ahead and see. If you guys have any other suggestions or anything, let me know in the comment section. But basically this whole entire comparison, the left photos and videos, the whole entire video will be for iPhone 11, and these photos on the right will be for iPhone 12. So kind of keep that in mind. I did try my best to like reposition all these videos to kind of the same size, so I guess we'll try it again. So that's pretty close to both. So as you can see this first photo, I was immediately able to see that the iPhone 12 did a lot more filtering than what the iPhone 11 did. Now if I go ahead and zoom into this specific portion right here, you may actually be able to tell that in my opinion, the iPhone 12 photo does look a lot more, I guess, high definited than what the iPhone 11 did. The iPhone 11's photo still looks pretty good, but the iPhone 12 looks a lot more punchy when it comes down to the colors. And if you look at this little leaf back here, you can see that in my opinion, the iPhone 12 did a better job at kind of removing a little bit more of that noise and blurring out the background. And you can see that if you even look at this little tiny portion right here, the iPhone 12 was able to kind of, put that in the, a little bit of, foreground without the blur going on. And again, these were taken at the exact same time for the most part, literally probably seconds apart. And on top of that, same lighting conditions. I didn't have to focus on anything. So this photo, they actually look more similar than not. This next photo was just another one, basic one, and it really goes to show how much over filtering there is on the iPhone 12 series this year. The iPhone 11, a lot more cooler colors. When you look at this specific thing, you can see again, and this really did a good job, the iPhone 12, at really managing on what I wanted to focus on without even tapping to focus. The iPhone 11 did a good job for the most part, but you can see that in the background, the iPhone 11 was able to kind of not blur out as much as the iPhone 12. I truly do feel like that the iPhone 12 did a better job at kind of keeping the background blurred while automatically figuring out the subject that I wanted to focus in on. The iPhone 11 did, I think, a decent job here too, but the iPhone 12, in my opinion, probably won this one. Now this next photo was one taken indoors and decent lighting. It wasn't crazy good lighting, and I didn't really see too many differences here, so I don't want to hit on it too much. But if I just kind of wanted to zoom in, and I love seeing these type of differences. When you zoom into a photo, look at how both phones kind of interpreted the exact same lighting, almost taken at the exact same time. And in my opinion, the iPhone 12's photo looks more, in detail. The iPhone 11 looks a little bit more blurred out. And again, I didn't tap to focus on either one of these phones. So it's crazy to see that, in my opinion, the iPhone 12 did a better job here, even on this specific photo, which seemed like a minor one, but in my opinion was actually pretty decently. Now this was taken at the exact same location, the exact same lighting conditions, and I took them one after the other. And in this case, it kind of showed, in my opinion, from the bird's eye view, like right now, the iPhone 11 photo looks a little bit more in detail. It looks like the iPhone 12 kind of focused in on a different area, which is totally okay. If you go ahead and zoom into this little portion right here, you can see again, it seems like, in my opinion, the iPhone 12 may have focused in on this specific area, where the iPhone 11 may have focused in on a certain part outside the middle. Because you can see the middle right here looks a little bit in focus, and this one does not, on the other hand. If I go and go up here, you can see this is a little bit more out of focus on the iPhone 12 than on the iPhone 11. So I think the iPhone 12 does a better job at kind of figuring out maybe what I want to, focus in on. It also does a good job of blurring out the sides, but the iPhone 11 in this case did a better job in my opinion. Now this is just another photo outside. This actually looks like a pretty decent photo. I should post it somewhere. And you can see that honestly they both look kind of almost exactly the same. I don't really see a big difference. Again, I said again, I think there's a lot more blur, maybe filtering going on for the iPhone 12, but I think the iPhone 11's photo looks really good as well. If I go ahead and focus in on this specific leaf right here, maybe we're able to see a difference, maybe not. I really don't see that big of a difference between them if I'm being honest, but if you actually look on the side of this leaf, I'm actually able to see that on the iPhone 11, doesn't look bad, but it looks like there's a little bit more, I guess, unfocusedness or maybe a little bit noise on the iPhone 11. The iPhone 12 actually did a pretty decent job at kind of getting these edges a little bit less pixelated. I would say, I don't know what the best word is. They both look pretty pixelated when I zoom in that much. But from the, if you, most people are going to look at it like this, there's really not that big of a difference. If you're zooming in a ton, then you're probably going to see a bigger difference. But these two actually look pretty much the same for the most part, except for a little bit more filtering going on for the iPhone 12. And this next photo was pretty much taken in the outdoor conditions, and all these photos kind of look the same, but you can see there's differences, subtle differences. Zooming into a section like this specific leaf, on the other hand, you can see pretty much the same thing going on. There's really not too much craziness, so there's definitely, a good thing. Actually, kind of looks like that the iPhone 11 kind of did a better job at this leaf, but it's hard sometimes to figure out where the focus points are for both phones, and that's what's very, very important as well. Like I said, I let both these phones autofocus, so wherever they focused on, that's kind of what I did. Now on these sides, if you go and kind of look in the background here, they both did a good job of blurring out this specific portion as well. But as you can see, there seems to be more noise on the iPhone 11's photo in the blurred background, with the iPhone 12 less noise but same amount of blur. So that's very, very interesting too. Now, this is interesting. I stood at the same exact location for both phones, but I zoomed in as much as I could and took the photo. So this was using the regular wide-angle lens, but zoomed in a lot. So definitely not an insane amount of zoom, but still a pretty good photo on both. I don't really see a crazy amount of difference. When you zoom in that much, you're going to see, both photos look bad. But definitely I think this is just kind of showcases the zoom for both phones, which is really interesting. Now, this photo will demonstrate the portrait mode on both. And, like I said, I let it autofocus. I didn't have to focus or anything. And they both did a pretty decent job, at taking the photo. Now, if I zoom into the specific teddy bear, you'll be able to see that for the most part, if you just took this photo, they look almost identically the same. I don't really see a crazy big difference. In some ways, maybe the iPhone 11 looks a little bit more focused in on, like if I go ahead and zoom into this little portion of his face and I look into this portion, it might just be me, but I kind of like how the iPhone 11's photo looks a little bit like I can see a little bit more fur. Actually, now I think about it, I think the iPhone 12 is almost the exact same thing. If you go and look into the kind of the sides of the specific hats and everything, they both did a good job at kind of blurring out everything. And up here looks really, really nice, and both look really, really blurred out. So portrait mode on both is actually almost identically the same. I don't really see a big difference. But if you guys do see a bigger difference, let me know in the comment section. But like I said, it took these the exact same time. If these were different days or something, then yeah, I would probably, that would make sense. But these were taken at the exact same time. So that's very interesting in my opinion. Now, this was taken at night mode. So this was taken in really, really horrible lighting conditions. And I'm surprised by how decent they both were able to light up the photo. And they both, what I did is that they both had night mode. I used night mode. Both these phones do have night mode in this condition. And the iPhone 12 photo does look a lot better. The iPhone 11, I'm not too sure. I held the phone straight. It looks like I moved it around or something. That I could see how people think that, but that definitely did not happen. I did not move it around. And you can definitely see, in my opinion, the lighting condition, if you're not even going to look at the subject, they both lit up the device a lot more. I'm telling you, this condition was so bad. It was such a bad lighting condition. And they actually did a decent job at lighting up the object. Again, I don't know what happened here. I wouldn't really look at this and be like, oh, it's always going to be blurred out. And because of that, I thank God I took this next photo, which is in the exact same location, and pretty much the really, really bad lighting conditions. They both use the night mode, surprisingly, because it's still pretty bad. But again, you're able to see here for the most part, the iPhone XR box on the iPhone 11 seems to be about the same as the iPhone 12. So I don't think there's a big difference in night mode. If you kind of look in this little area right here, maybe you're able to see a bigger difference. I'm able to see that this is a little bit more in focus a little bit. But I think between both, there's not a ginormous difference for night mode between both, to be completely honest. Now, this is another photo that was taken outside, and both look almost identical. I don't really think there's that big of a difference between these. This is kind of like a minor one I just threw in there, kind of just as extra. And if I go and kind of zoom into like this little portion right here, if I go and zoom into this little portion right here, again, both photos look really, really good, and this was taken in really good lighting. But if you actually zoom down here, again, this is another example, in my opinion. The iPhone 11, a little bit more blurrier, a little bit more noise on the iPhone 11 photo, a little bit less noise on the iPhone 12 photo, and that's something I really like seeing for these newer models of phones, having less noise. So that's definitely something really, really interesting for sure. Now, these next videos I'll show you were pretty much just videos that I made indoors with pretty decent condition on landscape mode, and it looked, or in portrait mode, whatever it was, and both looked pretty good. I don't really think there's one that looked way better than the other one. And when you look at phones like these, you're never really going to notice that big of a differences in terms of, I think, in video quality and everything. But I think at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm kind of probably going to loop between these photos. Again, iPhone 11 on the left, iPhone 12 on the right, and you'll probably be able to see some differences in the photo and video quality for sure. Now this was ultra wide lens. I was using the ultra wide lens, zoomed out as much as I could on both, and it's pretty much same condition, and they both could zoom out as pretty much the same. Again, I tried to get in the same exact distance, but they both were pretty much the same when it comes down to it. I don't really think one phone has the way better ultra wide sensor. Again, a little bit more filtering going on for the iPhone 12, but I think both these phones look pretty good at the end of the day for sure. And I don't think there's one that looks way better than the other one. And this is just another photo that I took, and I don't know why it looks so blurry on the iPhone 12. I think it's because it focused in on the wrong thing. The iPhone 12 was able to focus in on this little area. The iPhone 11 focused in, I guess, just in everything in general. I think the iPhone 11 photo actually looks better overall. Now I'll go ahead and end it off with the video that I took between these, and I'll go ahead and show you that right now. And I actually do switch between the audio quality, so I'll show you the video and audio quality, and you guys can see if there's a better audio quality device too. So right now I'm comparing the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 11's back camera. Both can do 4K at 60 and both have ultra-wide sensors. Pretty much the same type of setup for the most part. Now hopefully the video quality is better on the iPhone 12. Now I'll go ahead and use the iPhone 11's built-in microphone to see if it sounds good. So I'm speaking, just how I would normally speak. Now I'll go ahead and switch to the iPhone 12's microphone built in, and hopefully you're able to see a difference. Hopefully the iPhone 12 does sound better. I'm not really too sure if one's going to sound way better than the other one. Now I'll go and switch over to the ultra-wide sensors of both. So not that way, this way. And hopefully you guys will be able, kind of to tell the difference between both. Maybe so, maybe not. Definitely when it comes down to kind of the audio or the video quality, especially when you get down over here, you can definitely see how the iPhone 12 kind of looks a little bit better in my opinion. So now that we're back, I can pretty much sum up the video and say that I think the iPhone 12 probably has the better camera, but I don't think the iPhone 11 is that far behind. I'm sure if you guys just watched the video right now, you'd probably end up saying the same exact thing too. Both phones are great performing phones when it comes down to the camera. Like I said, both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back on the cameras, and I really don't think there's a crazy big winner here, but I would say if the iPhone 12 was like a 10 out of 10 perfect phone, the iPhone 11 is probably like a 9.5 out of 10. Like I say that all the time, but there's a really like a very, very little difference between these two phones. They're both very, very good, very, very strong contenders. And like I said, I don't think one is the way better one over the other one. So that really pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.